In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system I use with agents across the country to build a lead pipeline they actually own. Not one they rent from Zillow, not one that depends on a broker throwing them a bone. It's a real, repeatable pipeline built around who they are, who they serve, and the discipline to get it done. You see, I've spent 22 years in this industry as an agent, team leader, broker, owner, trainer, you name it. And what I'm about to walk you through right now is what actually creates longevity in this business and why most of what the industry's been working to sell you is working against you. Let me ask you this. When did you actually stop actively prospecting for opportunities? Not intentionally, because of course, nobody makes that decision consciously, but somewhere along the line, your broker introduced a system, you got turned on to some program, and there was always another service promising leads if you just paid a monthly fee. And you did it because it made sense at the time. And hey, I did it too. But here's what nobody stopped to think about. We built our careers before any of this existed. Any of this technology, any of this pay-to-play environment, we knocked on doors, we made the calls. We were entrepreneurs by necessity, and we were really good at it. Then the industry told us that was old-fashioned. So we plugged into their platforms and worked their systems, not because we were lazy, but because the tools got good and the promises sounded great. But here's what actually happened. We handed control of our businesses over to someone else. And don't get me started on the MLS. We've been conditioned to jump every time a lead alert comes in before another agent grabs it. Then there's the unqualified condo buyer who clicks on your profile online, or the unrealistic seller who's convinced their house is worth $50,000 more than it actually is. You're chasing inconsistent scraps and not building anything meaningful. And of course, the moment you stop paying, the leads stop coming in. So clearly, that's not a business. That's a subscription. And that's not a lead gen problem. It's an ownership problem. And once you see it that way, everything changes. Here's where most agents make their next mistake. They automate everything. A CRM is firing off 1,000 emails while they sleep. They have a generic drip campaign. And then at the same time, some other platform is promising an easy way to scale their business. Listen, I use technology every day. This isn't against anything with regard to technology. But sellers are human, and humans can smell automation and can tell when they're just another name on a mass list. And when they feel that, they just completely disconnect. Technology should sharpen you and not replace the human in you. Your years of sitting across the table from real sellers in real situations like divorce, financial pressure, estates, that can't be replicated. This is your edge, and that's why you're watching this video. The agents winning right now don't have the best software. They just get very specific. They show up for one type of seller until they become the obvious choice for them. Because lead sources do dry up, but a reputation and a brand does not. Now let me show you what this actually looks like. I worked with Jesslyn, who has years in this business. She's great with people, but not really focused on a lead generation strategy. She was working her CRM, but not with any focused plan or consistency. And here's what was quietly costing her. She was busy with busy work every single month, but nothing really stuck because she was just another real estate agent out there. No repeat calls, no referrals feeding her next deal. She was starting over from zero every 30 days. That's the real price of being a generalist. You never get to compound your efforts. I asked her one question. Which sellers do you think about most? Immediately, she said seniors. The ones still in their big family homes where they raise their family, have so many memories built up, but now can't manage the home anymore. She's been there with sellers like that before, so she understood the transition in a way most agents never did. So what did we do? We built her brand around that one situation. Her outreach became personal, because it was, and the calls started coming in differently because those sellers felt understood before she even said a word. That's how you deploy your experience with clear intention. Now, another agent, Danny, who was pulling pre-foreclosure lists from public records, these were the same lists everyone, has access to. And here's the flaw nobody stopped to see. If you're pulling the exact same lists as every other agent, you're not really prospecting. You're just standing in line because those same poor sellers on that list were getting dozens of pieces of mail screaming, "Pick me, pick me." His response rate, of course, was among the lowest, and he couldn't figure out why. What we did instead was move him upstream. And what I mean by that is instead of waiting for the public filing, we use data to spot early signals that point to propensity or likelihood towards default before foreclosure was actually happening. We then stack against tax delinquency and absentee ownership, and the resulting list pushed towards even greater motivation. He was now having much more specific conversations that his competitors clearly were not. And that's how a seasoned agent should use technology. Because remember, agents who are generalists compete for business. Specialists, on the other hand, work on compounding their business. So what's behind both of these stories, right? Well, it's called MAP, the Midlife Agent Pipeline. That's persona, problem, and plan. Persona is who you're built to serve. It's not a demographic, it's a situation like divorce, probate, pre-foreclosure, seniors downsizing, tired landlords, absentee owners, expired listings. When you pick one and go deep, you stop competing and you start compounding those very specific efforts. Problem is where you understand the why. Why does a seller need to move? What are they afraid of? What does a good outlook look for them, right? Most agents skip that part and go straight to the pitch. And the ones who slow it down and deploy empathy and understanding, because remember, we're dealing with people, those are the agents that have the advantage. And plan, of course, is how you reach them. What is the message? What is the cadence? What are the channels by which we deliver that message? That's going to depend on your market and your style. But the word that matters the most here is consistency. It's not when you feel like it. You must remain consistent because a pipeline is not a campaign, it's a discipline. Here's the next step if this resonates. It's called the Data to Deals Blueprint. And that name matters because what you're walking out with is ownership of a pipeline that belongs to you and not one that you rent. It's 60 minutes one-on-one with me where we identify your persona, the seller situation you're best equipped to serve, right? We then map out the problem, why those sellers need you specifically, so your outreach sounds unlike anyone else's. And we build your plan, the message, the cadence, the channels, all dialed in for your market. At the end of that session, you walk away owning something real, your blueprint. Now, let me address what I know some of you are probably already thinking. Eddie, I've been in this long enough. I should be able to figure this out myself. And maybe you can. But here's what 22 years working alongside agents across the country has shown me. Precision can't be self-taught from inside the business. When you're in it every day, working transactions, managing clients, it's almost impossible to step back far enough to see what's missing. The agents who built pipelines they own didn't figure it out through years of trial and error. They got very specific, fast, they committed to a niche, and they built the discipline around it. Right now, there are sellers in your market who need exactly what you're best at giving them. And every month you spend figuring it out alone is another month those sellers find someone else. And that, my friends, is called opportunity cost. And it compounds just in the wrong direction. You became an entrepreneur because you wanted to own your outcomes. This is how you start doing that again. So here's the simple truth. You can keep renting your pipeline, or you can start owning it. If you're ready to own it, the next step is really pretty simple. Book the Data to Deals Blueprint. The link is right below. It's 60 minutes one-on-one with me, and we will build your map together. Your persona, your problem, your plan, specific to your market, your experience, your sellers. You walk away with the blueprint. The investment is $500, and I'll see you in that session.